Good evening, Melrosians the world over. I'm Tom Catalini.
I'm Sam Hammer.
And I'm Tom Shampoo.
And this is Let's Talk Melrose. Melrose, it's a show where Melrosians talk to Melrosians about Melrose. As usual, there's tons to talk about. The show is jam-packed tonight with special guests. It is episode 199.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Right? We're getting ready for number 200. We're going to talk about that. But first of all, I just saw you recently at the fundraiser for at the Nights run by Bill Butler.
Well, not you, Tom.
Talking to Sam, yeah. I saw your wife there, Tom.
Yeah, my wife was there. I was not there. I was under the weather, as they say. Winter, cold, winter something. Not COVID.
Glad you are feeling better. But
yeah, I am. Thank you. How was the fundraiser?
It was great. So you actually had a stand-in. I forgot to put this on earlier.
Tom Cat or me?
Nope.
Oh, there we go.
David Hasselhoff was there.
David Hasselhoff.
And then this guy thought he'd join in the fun. He just popped in.
So should we wear like our lifeguard bathing suits? Like, what should we do for that?
Nothing anymore. But
right. What was the fundraiser for? I forget. It was
Melrose Kind.
Melrose Kind. That's right. Oh, great.
So to back up for a second, we talked about this on the show. I think last week, but basically, Bill and his colleague Ramsey, they volunteer to bartend for the night. So it's like celebrity bartenders. They had a tiki theme, so they had the Hawaiian shirts and straw hats and David Hasselhoff and blow up pine trees. They actually buy drinks for everybody in the bar, and then all of your tips go into support the charity, and they raise thousands of dollars for Melrose.
That's fantastic.
It's really great event.
And I love Bill. He's great. And I love that he's like a celebrity bartender because everyone knows Bill. And he's such a presence around the bar and with people like that. It's a lot of fun. I've been before to those events, but I missed last week.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. I'm sorry you missed it. David stood in for you, though. We had a good time with him.
I'm sorry I missed Hasselhoff. Yeah. It's too bad.
The Hoff.
The Hoff. What else is going on? How was the rest of the weekend for people? Everything all right? Sounds like a quiet weekend.
It was a blur.
A quiet weekend, actually. Yeah.
Well, you all hung out together while I spent the evening in the ER with my kid. But we were
right.
fine other than that.
Yeah, everything's good.
It was great. No,
make sure everyone knows everything's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, I'll be honest with you guys, I feel like I have not spent time downtown in a few weeks. We had stuff going on here and whatever. But now I feel like I miss just walking down Main Street. I usually do a weekly pop in at Nero. Do a little work maybe once a week in there, and I haven't done that in a couple of weeks either. So I feel like I'm out of the loop of Melrose.
So the fundraiser. Oh, can you hear me? I don't know what keeps happening to my camera.
Hear you.
The fundraiser at the Knights of Columbus was on Friday, and so it was early. It was like 5 to 7, so it was like an easy thing to kind of pop in.
Pre-event.
And then Stephanie and I went to Rising Eagle. Yeah. Afterwards, I'm fixing the camera. We're on the way back.
I was going to say, what's going on there?
Yeah, I got a loose cable, but
a loose cannon over there.
I know that's been the rumor for a while. But it's actually true.
Only 199 shows. You'll figure it out at some point, Tom.
I think I got a loose cable. But we went to Rising Eagle, and it was packed. It was, so it's Friday night, 7:30ish, whatever. So it's the first time I had seen there was actually sort of a line, a crowd control mechanism up front, and it's the first time you had to put your name in and sort of wait for a seat. And so it was great to see bustling downtown.
But of course, the LTMM special table was open for you, so they pulled you right in.
So I was trying to be low key, because of course they want to take me to the front of the line and give me a special table. But I was like, no
autographs tonight.
I'm just a Melrosian like everybody else.
All right, so what time did you leave there?
I don't know.
When you
2 a.m.
when you left,
whenever they shut it down.
When you left, were there people wandering the streets, or was it all quiet on the?
Oh, it's cold out there. Yeah,
it
was cold out there.
And Tom, Are you one of those people that they sneak 2 drinks in with no food? Is that how you roll over?
Well, there's some things we don't talk about on the air. I mean, there are certain, as you know,
Yeah.
we're in prominent positions, and people do the best they can.
Yeah.
To help us out. But yeah, no special favors, all good times. So it was great to see the business bustling. Yeah, I'd say not a lot of pedestrian traffic. It was cold. I just kept my head down and got to the car and got out of there.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we take a twirl around 9:00 p.m. in Melrose any given night in the middle of the street because it's pretty quiet. But yeah, I was just curious because it'd be fun.
Are you patrolling each night at 9 p.m.? Is that what you're telling us?
Let's check. Well, I was heading out of something around 9 p.m. right, and another couple came out of CVS, and the woman turns to the man and said, "Is it always this quiet?" And he said, "Oh, that's right. You weren't here pre-COVID, but yes, it's always this quiet at 9 p.m." So
on Main Street.
I don't know.
What can we do?
I'm doing research.
All right. Well, we should maybe move on to the news. We should also let folks know we have a great group of folks coming on tonight. A group of folks, meaning we have more than one. So Sam, tell us who's coming on the show.
So Rebecca Mooney, formerly of Maeve, now of all of Melrose fame, and she's coming on with Amanda Keefe to talk about the Melrose Family Room 35th anniversary, which is huge. And also joining them is Mel Landon, because tomorrow is Galentine's Day, and I have to know all the rules before I go down there. So, so they're all together.
Mel's a top fan, of course, of the show,
and as we are of her,
as we are of her, of course. All right, well, let's get to the news. Right, news time.
Yep.
Never gets old.
I love it. Always a keeper.
All right. So so tomorrow night there's a lot going on. So if you have time, I would say shopping at we're at the Galentine's Day starts at 6. But if you hold off or go quickly from tomorrow night, 6:30 to 8:00, the Melrose Education Alliance Association is having an educator caregiver forum. There'll be a budget presentation from the interim superintendent, John Massero, and there will be time for questions and answers and small group conversations. So we talked last week, we're projected to have a deficit in our school budget. So it'd be interesting to see what he has planned for next year and what he envisions for the future years with the new super. So that's tomorrow night, Wednesday, February.
Where is it?
At the Learning Common at the high school.
Learning Commons at high school.
So 6:30 to 8. It would be great if you go to Galentine's first, grab some accessories, and then head there looking fly. I also wanted to mention, so the Melrose Permanent Scholarship Fund is open right now for donors. So if you want to establish an annual gift, a one-time gift, or talk to them about an endowment, do so in the next 4 days by February 10th to get all of that situated for every senior gets something, or everybody who applies gets something.
Yeah. And I think it's important to mention that again. Both my kids went through Melrose High School and graduated, and everybody gets something from the Melrose Scholarship. It's really impressive and incredible. So good job to those folks doing it, and please contribute if you can.
Okay, what about the Let's Talk Melrose honorary scholarship?
Yes.
If we started an endowment, what would the qualifications be for the awardee?
Future leader in broadcast journalism.
There you go. All right.
Or fake news. Either way.
So my kids went to the high school as well, and you go to the ceremony and it's great. Everybody does get some kind of scholarship, and many of them are named after or given in memory of. So they're all very specific, and sometimes they have certain criteria or whatever. But in total, it's like real money. It's like millions of dollars in this endowment, and they're giving out real money to kids.
I want to say 7 million is a number because we had somebody on at one point a couple of years ago. I feel like 7 million is how much
I think that's right. So
presently.
it's spinning off hundreds of thousands, I think, a year.
A year, yeah.
Yes. And also, I just want to add that if you specifically want to give donate some funds, the Friends of Melrose Metco has a scholarship fund line item that you can donate by March 1st. I'm going to put the link in there as well.
Oh, great.
So also great.
Yeah, and I think the reason that it's that fund is so large and established now is because they started many years ago, and they've had a group of people persistently shepherding that over the years. So, and we're going to be celebrating. We're going to be talking about some other folks, things in Melrose that have been going on for a bit with our guests coming on, like the family room. So it's just interesting when somebody has an idea, starts it, and it'll carry on for many years or decades. The scholarship fund, I feel like, is sort of that ilk, maybe 30-ish years or something.
I think it's more like 50 or 60.
Is it more like 50? Okay, so it's
like the 1950s or 60s is when they started that.
So you don't just all of a sudden have $7 million. Like somebody started this and persistently worked at growing this year in and year out, and it's well managed and all of that.
1960.
1960. There we go.
There you go.
Yep.
All right. Well, 60 plus 30. Another 30.
I make up a lot of stuff, and occasionally I'm right.
If I'm like one or two standard deviations, I'm fine. That's close enough.
Good enough.
What else we got, Sam?
And then on Saturday, Paper and Clay is having a winter pop-up from 11 to 4 at their new location at 837 Main Street. So go check out their new spot up on Main Street.
Local artists. Mm-hmm.
Yep. What else? Oh my gosh, gluten-free baking. I just had to put it out there for all the GF peeps.
Oh yeah. At the kitchen?
At the kitchen, Saturday from 1 to 3:30. Sorry, I gotta let Teddy in.
Doggy time. Then I'll just say I drove by last night. I was near the kitchen. I was picking up something, and it's packed. Like there's always stuff going on at the kitchen. So I really love that they just have activated that space, and it's such a great space. And they must have had 12 or 14 people in there for a class of some sort. There was a chef doing something. So it was kind of great. So I love seeing that space used.
And one other thing I heard last night from Jana Jimenez herself was that they did have the Rotary come in to do like a team building cooking for the food pantries and the freezer, the freezer that we have, the community freezer.
Nice.
And they're gonna expand that program. So corporations, companies, businesses, nonprofits that want to come with their team to bake a whole bunch of food to put in the community freezer. There's an opportunity to do that at the kitchen coming soon.
Oh,
how cool is that?
We had a community freezer. What's this community freezer?
We'll have to wait for Jana to come back on and talk about the next show.
Well, I'm ready to move on to get our guests on here. I think there's a lot to discuss, so I'm happy to bring them on. So let's bring on our guests tonight. Ta-da.
Hi.
Welcome.
I'm going to do that. There we go.
Ooh.
Oh, what?
Move, Tom.
Moving stuff around.
Well, thank you all for coming on. First of all, the Melrose Family Room has been something I've heard of for as long as I've been here. And I just think it's an amazing resource for families who need a place to go that maybe don't have all the space in their house or have the ability to have all of the stuff that you have there. Can you, Rebecca, please tell us the story of the Melrose Family Room? How did this even start?
How and when?
So I always say that it was born out of my own need. I had my first daughter. She was born. I was sitting in the little nursery in a rocking chair. I mean, I really seriously remember the moment of just staring out the window thinking, I have a supportive husband. I have a degree in psychology. And, I'm completely overwhelmed by this little baby. And my whole life had revolved around my job, and I had left that. So I had no family around. I'm from California. All my family was there. So I just started thinking, wouldn't it be great to have a place that you could just go when you felt like it? Like no one was expecting you, because I was in a play group, but even that, it was stressful to have to be somewhere like at 10 o'clock on the dot, with yourself and your baby. And I was like, just, a drop-in center where you could show up when you wanted to. Nobody was expecting you. And just a place to gather and share and support each other and let the children play. So I mentioned the idea at my play group that I was part of. And I'll never forget, one of the women said, that sounds like a complete zoo. And then my friend Patsy in the group said, I think it sounds great and I'll help you. And that's
Nice.
kind of all I needed was one other person. And so we researched, there was another program in Concord called the Concord Family Room. And when I read the little description of it, I said, that sounds exactly what I had in mind. I drove out there with my daughter, talked to them, gathered all the information they would give me in writing, and pretty much modeled the Melrose program off of the Concord Family Room. Patsy and I put a little ad in the Melrose Free Press about, our idea for it, and just said, if you're interested, please come to a meeting. It was at the library. We said, bring your babies, your toddlers, if you like. And about 20 people showed up.
Wow.
So we knew there was a need, and we got a sign up for a planning committee, about 10 people. And, really our first thing was to find the space. So I remember going, it's so funny to think 35 years ago, I went into the Beebe Estate and met with Dave Driscoll, was the superintendent of Melrose schools back then. And, just to see if the schools might have a space, but they really didn't. And so churches, we really explored a lot of churches. And most of them would love the idea and would say, oh, we have this space you could use, but you would have to pack everything up because we need it on Sundays.
Right.
Understandably. But the Green Street Baptist Church, Larry Starr was the pastor at the time, said, oh, yeah, we have this room upstairs and it's yours. And
that's great.
He was just a complete supporter of the program from day one. He used to always say to us, you're doing the work of angels, which is sweet. And I really want to say the rent was $50 a month. I mean, it was nominal.
Wow. That's really great.
Mike Festa actually helped us become a 501c3. So we were incorporated. And then people just donated furniture. They donated the toys. I think we painted the room. It was a smaller room than it is now. It was a different room in the church. And I'll never forget the first day when we opened, just seeing all these, mostly moms, a few dads, but mostly moms walking up the street with their little baby carriers. It was just amazing.
That's great.
Just amazing. So,
and that was 35 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Approximately. Okay. So you have a 35th anniversary celebration coming up. Tom, did you have a question?
No, I was just going to.
So on Saturday, March 9th from 7 to 10 p.m., I had to double check the timing, knowing parent hours.
Kids.
Did you say no kids?
No kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
this is just for the adults.
Yeah. So Amanda, can you moved to Melrose, I don't know, like 4 years ago?
5.5 years ago.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I don't even know how the family room came on my radar. I think it was when I was first, I don't even think I had moved to Melrose when I got on I think it was under contract to buy in Melrose when I heard about the family room and got on the wait list and was on the wait list. I wound up being on the wait list for 3 years because of COVID. They didn't take members off the room wasn't open, so they weren't taking members. And so, someone said to me at the time, you'll get off the wait list if you join the board. And so here I am now. I didn't realize that everyone was getting off the wait list at that point, but got hooked in, and it is a really great space. And it's been a pleasure being on the board for the last few years. And then, earlier, I would say it was probably sometime in the fall, Rebecca reached out to the board and said, hey, it's 35th year anniversary coming up. And for the 30th anniversary, we had a get together of some of the former members and bringing everyone back together. Like, would you be interested in doing something like that? We'll help, former members will help. And so Rebecca and Janet Nevin have been super involved in helping us plan this. We have a few people, another board member and a couple members have also been on this planning committee. And the idea was just to get everyone together to celebrate. But then we thought, if can we also piggyback off this and turn it into a fundraiser? The room is probably hasn't seen any sort of major capital investments, and I'm telling people 2 decades. I don't really know what it is, but it's been a long time. If you go in there, you can tell the space could use a little love. We try really hard to keep our membership dues. It's a co-op based model, the family room. So dues are incredibly low. It's $200 for the year per family. So, what is that? Like $14 a month or something like that. So we try to make it really accessible. We have room scholarships for those who need them. So, we don't have money left over to make the room improvements. And so the fundraiser is really geared towards making a few major reinvestments in the room, hopefully some new paint and carpet, replacing some old and broken toys with some new, more modern toys, and just sprucing up the place. And to celebrate, 35 years in the making. We're really excited and looking forward to bringing it together.
So I'm going to suggest you broaden the event and maybe include kids, because after all, some of them are 35 years old. I think they can go to the fundraiser and maybe bring their own kids.
That's a good point. Rebecca, have your kids bought tickets?
Well, it's funny you say that, because my daughter, Catherine, that was in a way the inspiration for starting it, is now 38. 37. I can't even keep track. All I know is my daughter Kellen is 35, because when she turned 35, I was like, oh, it's the 35th anniversary of the family room, because she was born in September. We opened in September.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And I had a baby, and
of course, that's how we do, right?
But anyway, she joined the Melrose family room about a year ago, or no, but maybe it was before COVID. I think it was, Marinelli was a baby. So anyway, she is now 6, but when she was about 1 and 2, my daughter was a member, and I took my granddaughter there, and it was like, it was just amazing. I just said, never in a million years. It didn't ever even occur to me that my daughters would stay in Melrose and that I'd be taking my own grandchildren to the Melrose family room.
And it's a great space. I mean, if you haven't been in there, Sam, I know we had you in. I don't know, Tom, if you've been in before, but it's great. It's, a large open space with different areas set up for different types of activities. We've got some snacks and coffee and tea in the room for parents and for the kids, and
dress up area.
Yeah, it's open 365 days a year. And so all members have a key and a key code, and you can, it opens a little bit late on Sundays, but just to accommodate the church services. But otherwise, it's open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., something like that, every single day of the year. So
sounds like a co-working space.
That's amazing.
It does. It is. And
Amanda. So is somebody there? So it's empty and people just go on their own and spend.
You have a key. It's like turn the lights off when you leave.
Gotcha.
Replenish things as you see that they need to be replenished. But have free reign over this. My kids love it. I've got 3 kids, 5, 3.5, and 2 years old, and then we've been going there ever since the room reopened post-COVID, and they love it. I mean, it's just they never get sick of it. We're trying to do a better job about rotating some new toys in and out over time, just so that it keeps it fresh and exciting, and there's new things for kids to do as they go. But it's a great way for parents of kids ages 0 to 6 to meet one another and to connect with each other. And just especially in the winter, we're really, I would say, oversubscribed on weekend days, especially just because people just need to get out of their house. And there have been a bunch of other groups and similar play spaces that have opened in some of the surrounding communities, which are great. They're fantastic. They're beautiful, clean spaces, but they can also just be cost prohibitive for some families. Like for someone like me, 3 kids, $25 a kid each time we go somewhere to one of those other play spaces, it starts to add up. So this is something where it's we can low commitment, come anytime we want. Let them get all their wiggles out and beat each other up in the middle of someone else's.
And I do think that's really what makes the family room so unique, is it, there were other programs and organizations that existed at the time that, there was a social worker running it,
like the cafe.
But the family room has always just been completely grassroots, everybody on equal footing. There's no staff. It's just the power of people coming together, parents coming together. And when we've had the different, reunions over the years, we've had a little time. This year, it might be too many people to do this, but we've had a time where we just go around and people say what the family room meant to them. And especially those of us who were there in the early years, I think it's changed a little over time, but it was just a lifeline. It was just, most of us were taking a break from our careers at that point. We were home full time. And so it was like our social life. We made such deep connections. I mean, a lot of us are still friends to this day, the people that we met through the family room. So when I took my grandchildren, I did notice it's changed because times have changed. More people are working full time, and there's more nannies that come. There's more dads that come, which is great. But for us, it was a great place to let your kids play, but it was really for us to form those relationships with other adults. And there were a lot of offshoots to the drop-in time. There were parent support groups, there were field trips, there were adult-only parties. We had a thing we called circle time once they got to be about 3, where, a little more structure, a story, a craft, that kind of thing. So it was whatever the needs were and whatever people, were willing to do.
That's sweet. Do you know how many members you've had in total or how many families?
I mean, it's well over 1,000, maybe a couple thousand. So you figure we've got about 100 members per year for over 35 years. So I think obviously it was probably a little smaller early on.
A lot of math in this episode. 3 times 25. I'm still working on that from before. Now it's 100 times 35.
Yeah, and it's been great. So it's funny. I was just was catching up with someone, a former coworker of mine who lives here in Melrose, and she was like, "Oh, I was on the board years ago," and so just to hear how many people have been members and how many people have been involved over the years has been really great, and it has changed. I mean, I would say some of the programming for a while slipped off, and that's something that we as a board, actually, we had a board retreat last night where we're talking about how do we, reinvest and reinvigorate some of the programming, whether it's play groups or otherwise, just to help build that sense of community, because I think so many people want that sense of community. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, like the North Suburban, I'm going to butcher
Family Network.
Yeah.
Has amazing programs, amazing resources. Like, we want to partner with organizations like that. We don't want to reinvent the wheel and try to replicate or duplicate what they do. So it's really just trying to fill those gaps here in Melrose to the extent we can.
So before, Amanda, you said,
if I could just to say, I really want to reach out to the people who are kind of the middle years, because our committee is made up of like Amanda and 3 other young women that are current members, and then Jan and I, who are original members. But there's 35 years worth of people. And so if you have kids ages like 10 to 20, we really want to get the word out. And, it's so funny. Like, you were talking about how many members do we have? I have all this original stuff, and it's just so funny. Like,
she's got people's like home phone numbers. I'm like,
yeah, we didn't have emails. Everything is typed. It's like, oh my God. But anyway, we're trying all the ways we can, like tonight, to get the word out. But I really especially want to reach out to people that are kind of those middle years. Whose kids are maybe teenagers right now, and invite them to come, because the more the merrier, really.
Who are you talking about for the event?
Yeah.
Okay.
For
Because
the event on March 9th. Yeah.
Earlier, Amanda, you said 0 to 6. That's the target group to sort of be a member.
To be a member, families with kids ages 0 to 6.
Okay, great. And then you said about 100 members. So part of the excitement, I would imagine, is like it's a fun place to go and you have your community, but it's probably like, who else is there? Like, what's happening at the time, right?
Yeah. So it's, for the actual room, it's just, getting together with other families, getting, kids see some of their friends there. You tend to have some of the same families who go the same time each week. Like, there's a group of us who tends to be there like 4 to 5 o'clock on Sundays, just because there's nothing else to do 4 to 5 o'clock on Sundays, and you're just killing time. And so, you see a lot of the same people time and time again, week in and week out. But then for the event, hoping to get some of the parents together, and just to, again, like, it's, hopefully it's not too much of a barrier for folks. $20 a ticket. We're going to have some food and drinks there. And Mel's put the bug in my ear about maybe getting some live music there.
She obviously needs live music, right, Tom?
Right.
You might need some live music. So Rebecca, I'm about to throw that on the planning committee.
Sounds good. Yeah, our last one, the 30th, was at the BB Estate, and that's why we looked for a bigger venue, because it was really bursting at the seams.
Good. That's good news.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah,
you don't have to be a member or a former member to come to the event on March 9th. It's really open to the community. Anyone who's been to an event at the family room, has a neighbor who is a friend, or just like bring somebody. I keep on telling everyone, I'm like, bring a friend, bring like a group of people, and let's just make it part of a night out and for a good cause, and to support the room, and something to do, something here in Melrose.
Something open past 9 p.m.
Yes.
Right, but if I was going to go and I needed to accessorize for this event, I'm not sure. Like, that's going to be a hurdle for a lot of people. So I don't know if we can help them solve that somehow.
Great segue, Tom. Great segue. Yeah.
Mel, why don't you tell us what's happening at the Worklery tomorrow night?
So I'm really excited to partner with Zero Waste Melrose to do a Galentine accessory mini swap tomorrow night. So, Zero Waste Melrose does the big swap day every year, which is awesome.
Super well organized event.
Oh yeah. And this year they started with, in December they did the first mini swap, which is, these are swaps that are focused in particular things. And so they did a holiday decor one in December across the street at the 368 Collective. And that was really well received. And it was funny because actually Gina from Zero Waste Melrose is a member of the Worklery. And she was in here one day and we were talking and I was like, really wanted to do like a Galentine thing, maybe a swap. She's like, oh, well, we were thinking about doing this. So voila. So we're going to have it here tomorrow night, 6 to 8 p.m. So any kind of accessory, ranging from jewelry, scarves, belts, bags, anything basically other than clothing or shoes, we will accept. People, there's actually a huge pile already outside the door of the Worklery right now. But you can drop stuff off ahead of time, or you can just bring it with you when you come, and then we'll swap. And then so people, or you don't. By the way, you don't have to bring anything, even if you just want to come shop the swap.
Shop the swap. There's a hashtag.
So I grew up in Florida around a lot of flea markets. So yes. the flea vibe is very frantic. As soon as it opens, people flurry about. So tell me, are there rules? How do I know what? Do I have to? I said I was going to bring my sharp elbows.
Like filing spaceman, the running.
Yes.
I don't know what you say. I really don't know what to expect. I don't know how many. If this is going to be a madhouse or not.
I can say one of us from this house will be going tomorrow night. My wife is going.
And it will absolutely be a party. If that's
Tom, it's fine if you want to tell people that you're coming to Galentine's Day.
Yes.
What's that?
It's fine if you want to come to Galentine's Day.
Well,
I'll be happy to go.
Absolutely. Actually, yeah. I mean,
honestly, do some shopping.
If you want to come do some shopping,
shop the swap.
Shop the swap.
Imagine all the husbands in here shopping for their wives.
Yeah.
It is. I'm just saying, it is Valentine's coming up. Galentine's.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, look, I got this vintage, sequin.
I shopped small here in Melrose.
Yeah. So, Sam, to your question, so I don't know. So we're gonna have, the one thing that the Worklery has a lot of is table space, which is great for something like this. So. We're going to have different areas set up with different types of accessories. We'll probably have it in sort of the two main rooms, and we will have signage. We have a bunch of lovely volunteers who will be directing people to the, who are dropping things off and helping out. So I'm hoping that it's ordered chaos. We'll
if you're working with the Zero Waste folks, it's going to be great because I went to the big swap and that has all the elements for pure chaos, and it was super orderly, very well done. How you drop things off, how things were sorted, how you move through. Yeah, I mean they really know what they're doing.
I agree, Tom. I'm a kind of fly by the seat of my pants person, and I started, so I was like, oh yeah, we'll just do it. People draw whatever, we'll fine. And then they came and they're like, okay, here's the agenda. Here's how we're going to order. They made these beautiful flyers of like detailing sort of what people bring. I'm like, oh, wow. This is, I'm so glad I'm partnering with them to do it. Yes, they are bringing much order and experience to this, and we are excited. So we're going to do more of these. So next month, for all the parents here, we're going to do a kids sports gear swap.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome.
That'll be
so
awesome.
Yeah.
We're aiming for early March before the spring sports kick into high gear. And so, I'm hoping that maybe even thematically we could do, one a month or every other month and really help people embrace the culture of reusing.
I love it. The thing that you all, besides your friendship, have in common is that the businesses that you've started and that you have here really are about building community.
Absolutely.
And so I'm very grateful for everyone who, for all three of you actually, for doing this and making sure that they stay alive. But what else can we expect from the Worklery? What's going on and coming up for the community?
Great question. So a couple of things. So I have not said these out loud publicly yet. So this first.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Do the breaking news
Oh.
thing.
Breaking news.
Wait a minute.
Oh, do you have one? Do you have a
Oh yeah. Wait, you give us a second here. Yeah.
Breaking-
All right.
Okay. So I don't know if I'm the only one, but maybe you guys, if you've ever gone into, say, Cafe Nero or Starbucks on Main Street after school lets out in the afternoon, hoping to get a table and get it maybe those last couple hours of work in, and then find it overrun by let's say
people,
the younger generation.
Sorry.
That's okay, as they should be. I'm glad they're hanging out there. But I thought, after being unsuccessful in my attempts sometimes to get a table and maybe meet with somebody or do a little work, I've decided it's like, maybe I should just have sort of a pop-up coffee shop here at the Worklery, from 3 onwards for a $5 drop-in. So less than the price of a cup of coffee. You can have all the coffee you want here and have a little respite from, the chaos of the tween scene on Main Street after.
Yes, sign me up.
All right. And does that include full access to whatever's left in the fridge from the night before?
That includes whatever you would like in the fridge.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Then you should increase the price.
Yeah. Coffee, tea. So I'm hoping to launch that in March.
Awesome.
Wow.
How will that work, like access wise?
So I will have the door open.
Wow.
Like a Venmo, like what are you gonna do? How do people pay? Details later.
I will probably just put an option on the website that or they can Venmo me. Venmo is probably actually the easiest. I'm thinking, but yeah, that's a good question. That's why I'm waiting till March. I haven't thought it all out yet, but
I'll brainstorm it.
And hoping to do some other fun stuff. So I was planning to do a game night once a month, and then just
That's where I met Amanda.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yes.
So
Game night.
Serious game
Mexican train.
Mexican train.
No sixes.
Love game night. I love game night.
So both the game nights we've had here have been a blast.
So much fun.
Expanded my vocabulary, learned things I never and so have my neighbors. And so hoping to get a more regular game night here. And I'm hoping to do some things for kids on the weekends. So I'm talking to somebody who's really, who's a Lego facilitator about doing some kind of Lego club here on the weekends. So, trying to think about how we support especially kids who maybe aren't so much into sports, but are looking for, for other outlets and things to do. And then last, I'm actually talking with the chamber about doing a sort of a small business 101 series for people who are thinking about opening their own businesses and supporting the community and thinking about how do you do this? I mean, I don't claim to be an expert. I'm still figuring it out day by day. Like Amanda asked me a question, how are you going to charge? I don't know. But we can at least share some lessons learned. Yes. Yes. Exactly. So yeah. So more fun stuff.
Awesome. I'm so glad I asked. I wasn't sure what you were going to say, but there's always something. There's always something.
But I love actually hearing the reception because this drop-in coffee house idea. I was like, I don't know if people are going to be into it, but maybe. But Tom's enthusiastic endorsement, at least I know that I will see one person.
You'll see at least one. I'm all in.
I do have some members who come here right at 2:30, 3 o'clock when their kids come home from school. So they will probably.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's actually brilliant.
Kids are home. Time to go.
But yeah, and I just want to say, Rebecca, your reason for opening the family room really I empathize with and resonate with, is that's exactly why I opened the space, was to have a place to get out of my house and to connect with the community. So
yeah. Well, you're doing great work. I love the ideas you just shared.
Thank you.
Just meeting needs in the community. That's awesome.
That's all we're trying to do. Yeah.
Wow, yeah. So much going on. This is kind of one of the reasons we have the show, seriously, is because there's so many things that Melrose offers and so many ways that people like you all are strengthening community and building community and giving people a chance to connect with each other who otherwise wouldn't connect. And so we love when we meet people like you all who are doing things like that to really improve the city and the community. Thank you.
Thank you for giving us a platform to talk about these
Thank
things.
you.
Sure.
We promise more than 4 people will watch your show when we're done. So. These are just the diehards from Canada tuning in. So
It's a global.
it is a global show.
And Tom Catalini, by the way, your comment about Rising Eagle being packed, the first time I ever saw it packed with a line out the door was when the Honeybees played.
That's right. Honeybees debut.
Yes.
They packed
Right.
on a Monday night, no less.
That's right.
Was that when the windows were open that night?
Yeah, the
Yes.
windows are open. I remember that. I was
Yes.
there.
We weren't going to get in.
Spring.
Yes.
Spring.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well,
Well,
thank you for coming. I appreciate your time and all that you do.
all of you. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Well, before you go, I guess we queued up for, we danced it off because that's
We
how
are
we
queued
do
up.
it together.
We are queued up.
How
We're
could I
queued up to
forget?
play the music.
Yeah. You just have to move a little bit. Nothing, practice your moves for the 35th anniversary party or your sharp
You don't
elbow moves for
You know,
tomorrow night.
we're gonna get risque.
Stay seated so we can see you.
And almost 200 episodes.
Yes,
I mean, what
yeah.
an achievement.
Almost $199 for you all. Yeah, I know.
Congratulations.
Next week,
Hard to
live in
believe.
this back in the studio.
Is there going to
That's
be a real
cool.
life dance party afterwards? Perhaps.
We're
Something's gonna
still working on the
happen.
details. We'll have answers next Tuesday by 6
You know what?
p.m.
A lot will be revealed next Tuesday. It's a surprise. Let's
know.
just say it's a surprise.
For everyone. All we know is Tuesday, 8:30.
Let's just say we don't know. I mean, it's a
Behind the
surprise.
door, just beating it down.
It's a surprise for everybody.
Yep.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you. And we will see you around
See you around
town.